Good afternoon, my YouTube viewers. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to perform an A/B test on thumbnails. And thumbnails are like something that you would have to kind of like promote your video or your application of some sort. So in order for us to perform this A/B test, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to, 1, set up the data, 2, calculate the conversion rates, 3, calculate the pooled conversion rate, 4, calculate the standard error, 5, calculate the z-score, 6, calculate the p-value, and 7, we're going to interpret it. So the first thing we have is we have thumbnail A, which is bright colors and close-up face. And then on thumbnail B, we have dark tones, and it's an action shot. So your null hypothesis is there's no significant difference between A and B. And your alternate hypothesis, which can be depicted as either an HA or H1, is a significant difference between A and B. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to thumbnail A has 10,000 impressions and 1,200 clicks, meaning it's a 12%. And so you calculate the 12% by C2 divided by B2. In thumbnail B, you have 10,000 impressions, 950 clicks, and you have 9.5% click-through rate. And that's going to be C3 divided by B3, or 950 divided by 10,000. So we're going to pool our click-through rate, which is C2 plus C3, so that's 12% plus 9.5%, divided by B2 plus B3, C2 plus, C2 plus C3 is 1,200 plus 950 divided by B2 plus B3, which is 10,000 plus 10,000, and it gives you a pooled click-through rate of 10.75%. We calculate our standard error as being the square root of brackets D4, which is your pooled click-through rate, times 1 minus D4 times 1 divided by B2 plus 1 divided by B3, and that gives you a standard of error of 0.00438. We calculate our z-score as being D2 minus D3, so that's going to be 12% minus 9.5% divided by D5, which is your standard error, so that gives you a z-score of 5.707. Calculate our peak value, which is really low, and it's going to be 2 times brackets 1 minus norm dot s dot dist brackets ABS, which is absolute value, brackets D6, which is your z-score, comma, true. And so that's going to give you a really low p-value. It's going to be much lower than the alpha, which is 0.05. So if the p-value is lower than the alpha, which it is, you're going to reject the null hypothesis. If it is higher than the alpha, then you're going to fail to reject the null hypothesis. So we're going to interpret it. So if D7, that's your p-value, is less than D8, that's your alpha, you're going to reject the null hypothesis. Otherwise, you're going to fail to reject the null hypothesis. So let's see what happens. We've got 950 here. So let's see what happens when we go to 1,000. So when you go to 1,000, you still reject the null hypothesis. Let's go to 1,100. When you go to 1,100, you still reject the null hypothesis. When you go to 1,200, you fail to reject the null hypothesis because there's no significant difference between thumbnail A and thumbnail B. So we'll come over here to 1,150. So at 1,150, you fail to reject the null hypothesis. And at 1,100, you reject the null hypothesis. So basically what you can do is that helps you determine which thumbnail to use. So if there's no significant difference between thumbnail A and thumbnail B, then you can pick whatever thumbnail you want. But if there is a significant difference, then you would probably pick the one with the higher click-through rate. So that concludes this video. The next video is going to be an ADP test concerning a cancer treatment. So I hope that you decide to watch it.